Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel, and finally we get to do a review about A3 Mature. I went ahead and decided to go ahead and use one of the selectors that I had in my inventory, since I did have quite a few of these things. I actually had 4 of them, and since I already have my Vice at A4 and I'm going to get another selector, I got plenty of leeway to where I can go ahead and use one of my selectors or even a couple of my selectors on Mature to go ahead and get her leveled up, because, well, I was just going to use those selectors on her anyways. And I only wanted to do an A3 review. I didn't want to do an A2 review because I did kind of a half-butt A3 review of Vice, but it really wasn't that good because she did have quite a few bugs. Now, Mature here is a red balance type fighter, and her leadership is amazing for all red elemental fighters. This is so good. And when you look at her core effects, guys, I mean, obviously all these increases are really nice. I mean, and she is the stronger of the two. From what I've seen, Mature just has more power than Vice. Doesn't mean Vice is weak by any means. She's very strong, but Mature, I feel, has quite a bit more power. Now, the thing about Mature is that she has a 50% chance to obtain 3 Bliss stacks when defeating an enemy, up to 100, and this increases critical damage up by 1%, up to 100%. Now, this is really, really good against enemies, per se, or mobs, but not really so good against Guild Raid, and we'll explain why here in a second. So she deals bleed damage equal to 5,000% of attack upon landing an active 1 skill to a target with Mark of Blood, and applies Mark of Blood to the target for 15 seconds. Now, this right here tells you right there that you really want to level up the first skill from your core, because you're going to get all that extra attack, and we'll talk about the other skills here in a little bit. Now, Mark of Blood can only be applied to one enemy, and any Mark of Blood previously applied to another enemy will be removed. This is a 10% chance to apply bleed to all enemies for 20 seconds, which means you get bleed to everybody on the screen when attacking the enemy with Mark Blood. And bleed damage deals equal to 5% of attack every 1 second. And the reason you won't get these Bliss stacks against Rugal is because you do have to defeat an enemy. You can never defeat him, so you actually never get this critical damage up to 100%. That's why it's good against mobs or against opponents that you can actually destroy. So that's kind of like a little caveat or a little thing they threw in her, where she won't appear as strong as what she actually is, because against enemies she's going to be a lot stronger, because she can actually defeat them. You know, after you defeat an enemy, you'll actually get this. So whenever you're playing in Tower of Illusions, whenever you're playing in a plug-in plants, you're going to get this buff. Against Guild Raid Rugal, you just won't. And then, of course, the immunity cores, which are nice. Now, when you look at her skills, right, the Phantom Awaken skills, you know, whatever, the UE skill, this is all that I have because she's only A3, right? It enhances active 3 max skill into spinning attack, which allows movement during use. She just sits there and spins and spins and spins. There's going to be a little charge meter going on down at the bottom of the screen, and you're going to spin and spin and spin. They're going to hit the third skill again, spin and spin and spin, hit the third skill again, spin, 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 while that charge meter is going down. And man, it does a lot of damage. And this lasts for 10 seconds, and it can be used without charging. Stuns all bleeding enemies for 5 seconds upon use. I'm not even sure if this is bugged. I haven't even actually tested this. We might take a look at that at today. And then skill removes the bleed from the target, but obtains 1 stack of bliss per target with the bleeding removed, right? And we're not going to get the Phantom UE skill because, well, obviously she needs to be A5 in order to have this. But if you do have the Phantom UE skills, her damage is going to go up a lot, because you're going to get these Bliss stacks. You're going to get that extra critical damage for 140%. That is going to make an insane difference. You're still going to increase your third skill damage, still going to do all them spins, but you're going to get this extra critical damage by 140%. So when I'm playing with her, guys, I'm not going to be trying to build up my Phantom State bar, because when you're using just the UE skill, you don't really need to, right? It's whenever you have the bars, the Phantom State bar built up. It's whenever you have the Phantom UE skills, whenever you really want to build up those Phantom State bars, those 3 bars at the bottom, and then use your Phantom UE skill so you get the most buffs applied, right? The first skill, you know, decrease enemy defense by 80%, increase damage by 100%. Second skill, high promo for 5 seconds, which is awesome. And then third skill is a charge skill. This is pretty cool. It's called Ebony Tears, which is pretty funny, right? And the first time you hit the skill, you'll reset the third skill, which is nice. You also have a PvE exclusive where you remove the target's damage reflect, disable damage reflect for 10 seconds, and guard included, which can be handy. And then the third skill, you increase your third skill max damage up to 1,250% whenever you're holding it. This is insane, guys. Like, and when you use your Awakening skill, you're just going to be bumping up this tremendously, and you're going to be getting that 10,000% of attack is so insane. Like, nice, nice, nice. And then her finisher just increased momentum by 20%, which is really, you know, it's fine against the Aegis Challenge, but and it's actually good against Tower of Illusion, and it can also be good against the plug-in Plimp. Now, when it comes to your core, guys, you want to level up the first skill because of what I explained from the core, right? But you also want to level up her third skill. Her third skill does a lot of damage. That's her spinning attack. That's her charging skill. So you want to max out the first and the third skill, and then the second skill last. Obviously, you want to unlock these skills down here, and you want to level up her attack first, then penetration, and then whatso have you afterwards. When it comes to the card set, we're using our optimal set. We're going to use the option card here, and we're going to be using her 3PG. Now, I don't have any plugins on the girl whatsoever. I am using the regular 3 imprint stones, and I'm using these 2 stones like I did with Vice. These just give attack and bleed. That's pretty much it. That's all these things do. And I do have some shards in order to get another stone, but it looks like I'm probably only going to be able to A5 Vice unless I get really, really lucky before the pity. So I'm reserved on who I'm going to use that stone for until I go to that pity and see if I get lucky enough to get one more memory. If I get one more memory, then I might put that stone on mature, but then again, I might not. We'll see. I got to think about it. But her plugins, she doesn't have any plugins on her whatsoever. And this is how I did Vice too, by the way. I didn't have any plugins on her at all. So let's jump into Guild Raid, guys, and I'll show you a little bit of what she does. And remember, she doesn't get the Bliss stacks in Guild Raid. She doesn't get that extra critical damage by 100% because you're not going to defeat any enemies at all. So we're just going to use Iori as a striker because he has some nice little buffs, get decrease cooldown and all, which is nice, okay? And remember, her default really doesn't do anything. I mean, it does a little it does damage, but it just increases momentum, which really isn't very beneficial against Rugal, except for maybe stalling the timer. So we didn't even build up our 3PG, which kind of sucked. We're just going to go ahead and do the 3PG. Now, I've actually gotten a little spoiler here, about over 500 billion by doing this. So we're just going to go ahead and hit the Awaken skill. And her third skill moves, which is awesome. I mean, look at this thing, guys. Like, it is so awesome. Look at that. That is so cool. Like, I just love her skills. They look so badass with the snake, the spin move. Like, oh, like both these girls' skills look amazing. Now, we're just going to go ahead and use the default here. And that default does a lot of hits. That's something that's nice about. Now, here you're going to notice I'm just going to keep using the UE skill here. Alright, and here we go. Here we go. Well, I was trying to hit my 3PG. It didn't want to kick in for some reason. I don't know why, but it did and kind of screwed me up a little bit. And again, you know, just like Vice, you know, they both have the same 3PG, which is something I really, really love, like Iori and Kyo. And it's nice, man. She's really, really cool. Like, and by the way, if you notice, whenever she does her default, it looks like she's, like, it looks like when Rugal does his explosion. Now, I'm just going to go ahead and use her 3PG here, right? And you saw the damage that we were able to do. We got Rugal down in the stun phase, doing tons and tons of hits, and just racking up damage. And I just love having, you know, the interrupt skill on that second skill. Now, if I had her, you know, Phantom UE skill, if I had her at A5, I would be playing her differently. I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing exactly. I'd be playing her different because I'd be trying to build up the Phantom State bars on her. Now, he should blow up on us right after this. Yeah. Now, what I should have done is I should have... Okay, we're just going to go ahead and use her default. There we go, there we go, there we go. I mean, she's doing pretty awesome, guys. And like I said, I've gotten like 500 billion doing a complete solo with the girl at A3, which is pretty awesome. Okay, you get that default. And really you want to use that default to try to break that meter. Oh, I just love it when Rugal goes into an iframe. It's always nice. I mean, 446 billion, right? So like I said, you know, sometimes you have better runs than other runs, right? Sometimes you get a lot more critical hits and so on. Or you just play a little bit better, but I mean, there we go. Use this baby right here. Oh yeah, I mean 480 billion. So we're pretty much within the ballpark of what I did before I actually made this video. So yeah, pretty awesome. I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here, guys, but you get the drift, man. She's powerful. She's strong. She's got a lot of damage. And honestly, at A3, that's some pretty insane numbers that she's putting up. Really cool kit. Really fun to play. So let's take her into the plug-in plant, right? Because the plug-in plant, she's actually going to get a lot of extra buffs. And that's kind of the thing about having a character at A3 is that whenever they're A3, you can use them in the plug-in plant, right? If they're not at A3, you get kind of screwed and you can't really do it. And boy, it sucks, right? It really sucks not being able to use a character at A3. So let me see here. This is level, what level are we at here? This is tier 1. Let me see what 3 looks like, if we can actually do this. I don't know, because we only have 1,800 overall points. So let me go back to 2 here. There we go. I'm gonna try this. Yeah, we should be okay here. It looks like we're in the clear. So let's give this a try, right? I probably should have put a striker on her, but you know, we'll wing it, see what happens. All right, now here's where our bliss should actually stack up. Okay. Nice, nice, nice. And remember, like every time we defeat an enemy here, we're going to get that bliss, right? We're going to get extra critical damage. So you can see it right there, guys. You can see it right down here. And it's just so awesome that you can move her around. Oh my God. I just love it so much, man. She's so fun because of that. So cool. Oh my God. Just badass, guys. Like so sick. Oh my Lord. Like if you're a mature fan, I would think you'd be pretty happy with her kit. Like it's really unlike what you would expect for her. And she just hops around like a freaking, you know, rabbit. I mean, that's probably not the best thing to say, you know, like, but she's just so easy to play, right? And plowing through this. And even though you might not have a character at A5, you can still use them in this game mode. You can still farm for plugins. It kind of sucks because you don't really get to farm for the plugins that you want to farm for. You know, you're wanting to farm for, you know, higher level plugins. And so that's why I always recommend people to try to go A5. And really something that, you know, Netmarble should address in the future. They really should, man. It's really, I've made videos about it, the whole, you know, the fact that, you know, players feel forced that they have to A5 characters. And that, it really needs to change. It really does. I think it's honestly hurt this game quite a bit. And I'm not sure, I don't want to get into a rant mode whenever I'm doing a review about Mature, because I really am happy with this character. I mean, this is what Netmarble does right. This is what they do right. They make characters really well. They represent the characters really, really well. It's something that most players are not going to complain about, right? They're just not going to complain about that because, well, they just do an insane job. I mean, look at that, guys. Right? I mean, she just melts like butter. Now, granted, she's tier 2, but again, she's just A3. She's just A3, right? Easy, easy, easy. You saw the bliss stacks up there. She's getting extra critical damage. She's a lot stronger in this game mode than she is in Guild Raid. right? And that's the thing that's kind of misleading about characters like this with kits like this is that, you know, when they have kits that are specifically designed for a game mode like the plug-in plant, well, it makes them look kind of weak in other game modes, even though she is able to put up 500 billion at A3 on my account, which is still a really, really good score. But you have to remember that, you know, you're going to be using these UE characters a lot of times to farm in those plug-in plants, right? So this girl, like, she's going to have a lot of longevity because of that. Because if you have her at A5, take her to A6, A7, A8, A9, whatever, right? She's going to be a godsend because she's just going to be super, super strong in that game mode due to the fact that, one, she's just automatically powerful, but she also has that core passive where she gets all that critical damage in those specifically designed game modes. So all in all, I'm really, really happy with Mature, guys. Let me know what you think about her. And I do stream on Twitch at 9 p.m. JD+7 time. The link is in the description below. And I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching. Y'all take care and have a good one. See you, everybody. Take care.